Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Chet's Info Source. I'm Chetana S. We are doing series of ancient Indian history, and in today's video we will know about the pre-Mauryan age or the age of Mahajanapadas. So after the Vedic period or the decline of the Vedic period, the Janas or the people which were there, they started becoming greater in size and got involved in expansion of territory, resulting into the formation of Mahajanapadas. So they formed the Mahajanapadas. So where do we get the information about the Mahajanapadas is through the uh, Jain text and the Buddhist text like Anguttara Nikaya, Mahavastu. So these are the texts where the Janapadas have been mentioned. Especially the Magadha Janapada is more popular. So this period of the Indian history was majorly influenced by Jainism and Buddhism. Jainism and Buddhism. Also, the use of first coins, also called as punch mark coins, can be seen during this age. And there is also widespread use of iron. So this led to the spread of agriculture. More varieties of grains were produced, and pottery also flourished during this time. There is also an introduction of Brahmi script during this time, and the wealth of the state increased due to taxation. The position of women, the position of women decreased or degraded, and number of caste or the untouchability also increased during these times. So totally there are 16 Janapadas. There are 16 Mahajanapadas which were either monarchical or republican. Either monarchical or republican. So let's see the 16 Mahajanapadas. So the first Mahajanapada, what we are seeing is Cambodia. Cambodia. Its capital is Rajpur. Its capital is Rajpur. This was in the areas of Afghanistan and some parts of Jammu and Kashmir. The second one is Ashmakas. Capital is Potana. So this Janapada was on the banks of river Godavari, or you can tell the modern Maharashtra parts. Next one, Vatsa. Capital is Kausambi. So this Janapada was in central Malwa region of Madhya Pradesh. Fourth one, Avanti. Ujjaini is the capital. The Avanti king Pradyota is the most famous ruler. Next one is Shurasena. Mathura is the capital. Sixth one is Chedi. The capital is Suktimati. Seventh one is Mala. Pava is the capital. Eighth one is Kuru. Astinapura. Astinapura is the capital. So this is in the Delhi Meerut region. Ninth one is Panchala. Capital is Kampilya. Modern Farrukhabad district. And Matsya. Virat Nagari. Vajji is Vaishali is the capital for that. So this is in Nepal border. Next is Gandhara. Capital is Taxila. It is in Kabul Valley. Kabul Valley. So 13th one is Anga. Champa is the capital. Bihar. Next is Kashi, Banaras. 15th one is Koshala, Shravasti. 16th one Magadha, Rajagriha. So these are the 16 Mahajanapadas. So out of these, the most important Janapada is the Magadha. So during this time, the important economy aspect, let's see, economy aspect of the Janapadas. So here began the urban settlement. Here began the urban settlement, and and trade and crafts became hereditary. Which became hereditary? Trade and crafts. Also, there is a use of money called Nishka and Satmana. Nishka and Satmana. The paddy cultivation was also practiced. 1/6 of the farm produce was paid as taxed, and also rich peasants were called as Gruhapatis. Vessa was called the merchant streets. Merchant streets. There is also a tax called Bali, which was collected compulsory from peasants and Vaishyas. From peasants and Vaishyas. So it was a compulsory tax by peasants and Vaishyas, and the officer was called as Bali Sadakas. Okay. Next, coming to the society aspect. Society. People lived here in three types of villages. The first category is it had various castes and communities living together, and it was headed by Bo Jaka. Okay. The second type is like the suburban, where the craftsman dominated, craftsmen dominated, and it is linked the urban, rural to urban. The third category lived the outskirts of the city, outskirts, and they lived the backward life, and these were the hunters or the fallers where people lived. Hunters generally lived there, or people who did menial work. Writing had started during this Mahajanapadas. Army was formed, and there was discrimination in lower varnas, and there was several punishments also during this time. So this is about the society. Coming to administration and army. The Jatakas or stories of Buddha, which mentions that there is a grant of lands given to the religious leaders, and so there was land grants, and king was the head of the army, and he was called as warlord, and there were ministers also like Mahamatras, or Mantrin for minister, Sena Nayaka for commander, judge and accountant as well. And there was also Ayuktas. And for village administration, there was Gramini, Gramini or Gramika or Gramboja also. So large professional and permanent army was there. So permanent army was there during the Mahajanapadas. So this is about the general features of the Mahajanapadas. Next, let's come to the Magadha Empire. Magadha. Magadha Empire. So how did the Magadha Empire form? There were many Mahajanapadas, right? We have seen Kashi, Koshala, Magadha, Vajji. They remained significant in the 6th century BC. Later, these states started fighting among themselves for control, and eventually, among all this, Magadha was found to be victorious. So, the central political activity in northern India became powerful with the Magadha Empire. So, not only this, there are many other reasons for Magadha rise also. The first one is the strategic geography. The strategic geography. Since Magadha's capital was Pataliputra, there was abundant resources like for iron, soil. It was rich in alluvial soil of the Gangetic plain. So hence it was a wealthy state. And they used elephants for war, and the society of the Magadha was also progressive. And the rulers like Bimbisara and Ajatashatru of Magadha, they were very ambitious rulers. They were very competent and enterprising as well. So the Magadha Empire was first ruled by Aryankas, Aryankas dynasty. Aryankas dynasty. Among this, Bimbisara. Bimbisara is the most important ruler. He ruled around 542 to 493 BC. This Bimbisara was the patron of Buddhism, was the patron of Buddhism, and yet was very lenient to other religions also. He made capital as Rajagriha, and he described as Senia, the one with an army. So he promoted the dynastic marriages. So this is also called as marriage alliance. He sent his personal physician also. Bimbisara's aggression was towards Anga Janapada, and later it was annexed to Magadha. So this is about the Bimbisara. The next important ruler is Ajata Shatru. He is the son of Bimbisara, and he ruled from 492 to 460 BC. He got the throne by killing his father Bimbisara. He had an expansionist policy, so he defeated the Koshala and Vaishali. So he was the ruler with expansionist policy, and he defeated the Koshala and Vaishala. And another important thing is Bimbisara and Ajatashatru, both Ajatashatru were the contemporaries of the Buddha. So during this time, Buddha was present or there. Next important ruler is Udayan. He ruled from 460 to 444 BC. Ajatashatru's son is Udayans. Okay, and he ruled for 16 years. He moved his capital to the bank of Gangas, and it was known as Pataliputra, and he also built a fort. The last ruler of Aryanka is Nagadasaka. He was overthrown by his Amatya only. So later this Shishungas started ruling the Magadha. So during this rule, they annexed the Avanti and Mahajanapada. So they extended the Magadha Empire. So During this time only, Vaishali, the capital was shifted to Vaishali, and Kaloshka, Kaloshka hosted the Second Buddhist Council, Second Buddhist Council at Vaishali. Later, the capital was shifted back to Pataliputra. Pataliputra. So after Shai Shungas, we can see Nandas. So Mahapadma Nanda is the founder of this dynasty. Mahapadma Nanda. It is said that he was a great conqueror. He controlled the area between the two seas. He is the destroyer of all the Kshatriyas. He overthrew many of the Janapadas. He also had Jain ministers. He also had Jain ministers in his kingdom. Jain ministers were there, and he was contemporary to Alexander of Macedon. Alexander of Macedon. The last Nanda was Dhanananda. Dhanananda was the last ruler of the Nanda dynasty. And Nanda dynasty, after the decline of the Nanda dynasty, Maurya dynasty, or the Mauryan empire, is what we see. So this is the pre-Mauryan period which we are talking. So this pre-Mauryan period also experienced foreign invasions. Few foreign invasions. So if you observe the Indian map, we have got all the invasions from the west. From the west. So the foreign invasions is also from the west. The first foreign invasion is the Iranian or the Persian invasion or the Persian invasion. So Cyrus II invaded the region between the Indus, and during the Bimbisara reign he succeeded in establishing control over the Gandhara, Cambodia and all. His grandson, Cyrus' grandson, is Darius I. Darius first. He conquered the Punjab and Sindh. So due to this Iranian invasion, there is a Indo-Iranian trade. So this led to the influence on language, art, also architecture. So the bell-shaped capital, Ashokan inscription, the introduction of the Kharoshthi script, very important Kharoshthi script, all led to the influence of the Iranian. After this is what we see Alexander. Alexander's invasion, which is Alexander's invasion, which is 327 to 325 BC. So after defeating Darius III, after defeating the Darius III, the last Achaemenid empire, Alexander crossed the Hindu Kush. He crossed the Hindu Kush mountains and entered the northwestern region province. The uh, the king of Takshala is the Ambi. He submitted to the Alexander. Later, the most important one is Battle of Jhelum or Battle of Idus Pass. Okay, so here the Porus, who ruled the territory between the Jhelum and Ravi, was defeated and captured after the initial resistance. The Alexander was impressed by the Porus and reinstated them in power. Later, the army of the Alexander, they refused to cross river Bias and fight further, and this led to the decline of the Alexander invasion. Even though he could establish few Greek settlements in northwest of India, and Alexander returned and he died in Babylon in 323 BC. So, what are the impacts of this, of the invasions? So, this led to the direct contact with the Greece or the Europe, and many Alexander historians we got information about our Indian culture and Indo-Bactrian Parthian states in India, Greek influences of the Gandhara art or the Gandhara school of art and culture also started, and new land and sea routes were discovered, and this led to the improvement in trade and more people contact, and this was due to the foreign invasions, particularly Alexander. So all this inform what the history which we see is related to the pre-Mauryan, before the Mauryan Empire, establishment of the Mauryan Empire. So this video is related to the ancient India, pre-Mauryan. I hope you like this video. Please share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.